Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Thompson. I am a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and I'm a survivor of rape. Almost 26 years ago today, a man broke into my home, placed a knife to my throat, told me to shut up or he was going to kill me, and then proceeded over the next 30 minutes to rape me. He destroyed my life. He wrecked everything I had planned for, all of my goals, all my ambition. He destroyed it in 30 minutes. Physically, I knew I couldn't defend myself. I'm too small. But I made the decision that night that in an effort to survive, I would pay attention to every single part of his face. I would memorize his nose and his eyes and his lips and his cheek and his chin and his hairline, his voice. I would pay attention to his clothing, his shoes, how he stood, how much he weighed, how old was he, how tall was he. Everything became instrumental in my survival that night. I lived. And I was absolutely adamant that I would help the police officers, the investigators, to try to find this person, to take him off the streets, to make Burlington, North Carolina, a safer community for all of us, all of the women who live there. Over the next several days, I was able to put together a composite sketch. I looked at a photo lineup. I looked at a physical lineup. And there he was, Ronald Cotton. I picked him out. I was positive, I was 100% confident that I was right and Burlington, North Carolina could sleep safe at night. 1985, we went to trial. Over 2 weeks of my life, 2 days on my own, standing on that stand, making a promise that I would fulfill to the other victim that night who could not make an identification. I pointed him out. Ronald Cotton was found guilty. He was found guilty of first-degree rape. He was sentenced to life in 54 years. We went back to the prosecutor's office and we had champagne. We toasted the system because I was a victim and I deserved the justice. And he was going to prison for the rest of his life. And if there was a God, he would die there. It became a daily prayer. 1987, the appellate court overturned the decision. We had to go back to trial. This time, they brought a mystery man in under voir dire by the name of Bobby Poole. They asked me if I recognized him. I said, "No, Your Honor, I've never seen him before in my life." "Do you see the man in the courtroom today that raped you?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor. He's sitting at the defense table. It's Ronald Cotton." Ronald Cotton this time was found guilty of 2 rapes and was sentenced to 2 life terms and 35 years. And again, we had champagne. We toasted the system because it worked, because I'm a victim, and he deserved to die in prison. By 1995, I'd become a mother. I had triplets. They were 5 years old. Life was chaotic, wonderful, and joyful. Ronald Cotton had been in prison now for 11 years and was requesting a DNA test to be done. I said, "Go ahead, run that test. I know what it'll show. For 11 years, I've seen this face in my nightmares. It was burned and etched in my mind. I would never forget the look in the face of my rapist, never." That DNA test ran. In the summer, June of 1995, they came to my house and they stood in my kitchen and they looked at me in the face and said, "Jennifer, we were wrong. It wasn't Ronald Cotton that raped you. It was Bobby Poole." My life became a series of shame and guilt and paralyzing fear, because now I had been re-victimized all over again. Every scar I had built was ripped open. Ronald walked out of prison 11 years later. It took me 2 more years to seek him out and look him in the face and say, "Could you ever forgive me?" And Ronald, with all the grace and mercy, forgave me that day. We became friends in each other's arms. We promised each other that nothing ever would come in between our relationship, that our story would mean something. I promised the 11 other women who were raped by Bobby Poole the fall of 1984 and the spring of 1985 that it would count for something. And that's why I'm here today. By executing Mr. Keith, the great state of Ohio will not be upholding justice. You will not be granting closure for the victims. You will not be creating a safer community. I strongly urge the parole board to recommend and the governor to grant clemency to Kevin Keith, and the great state of Ohio is at great risk of executing an innocent person. Thank you.